Hanli's expression remained unchanged as he swept a sleeve through the air to release several bursts of azure light, which intertwined to form an azure light barrier in front of himself and Nuo Yifan. In the next instant, the violent sandstorm descended upon them with unstoppable force, and it was as if the azure light barrier were being barraged by countless arrows. But it remained as resolute as a mountain. Gusts of yellow wind rapidly spread through an enormous surrounding area, hurling more sand up into the sky, while countless trees were uprooted before being buried under the sand. In the blink of an eye, the entire area in a radius of tens of thousands of feet had been transformed into a sea of sand. The battlefield between the beast race and the insect race was quite far away from where Suliu and the sand beast were locked in combat. But even so, the gusts of fierce wind were still able to sweep over the entire battlefield, reducing visibility to near zero. In fact, the weaker warriors on the battlefield found it extremely difficult just to remain still on the spot without being blown away, and as a result, the advance of the insect race army was slowed down significantly. This was naturally good news for the beast race army, and in particular, the golden immortals of the beast race heaved a collective sigh of relief, then pounced on this opportunity to alter the army's formation and fortify its defensive line. The beast race army had the home advantage on this battlefield, and during this brief window of respite, some of the tribes were able to unveil the defensive measures that they hadn't been able to reveal up to this point. Shortly thereafter, the sandstorm subsided, and everything returned to normal. The morale of the beast race army was lifted significantly upon witnessing their revered true spirit slay such a powerful enemy, and they quickly arranged a counterattack under the instructions of their chiefs before charging toward the insect race army. Due to how aggressive the insect race army's attack had been, the beast race army had been caught slightly off guard, but now that they had been given a chance to regroup and launch an effective counterattack, it didn't take long before the advance of the insect race army was stopped cold in its tracks. At the center of the sea of sand, the sand beast was nowhere to be seen, and all that remained was Suliu, who was holding on to his black staff with one hand, while clutched in his other hand was a large sand crystal. This sand crystal was clearly of a far superior quality to the one that Hanli had obtained. Not only was it completely translucent, there were some golden threads inside that were giving off bursts of formidable spiritual power fluctuations. Hanli swept a sleeve through the air to do away with the azure light barrier, and Nuo Yifan immediately rushed over to Suliu's side as she asked in an urgent voice, "Are you all right, Master Suliu?" "Of course! I'm as fit as a—" Suliu's voice abruptly cut off mid-sentence as he threw up a mouthful of blood. Nuo Yifan immediately flew around Suliu until she was in front of him, and only then did she discover that there was a huge hole on his chest. A large section of the azure armor around the hole had been charred black, and at this moment the wound was slowly healing while releasing wisps of white smoke. Meanwhile, Hanli merely stood and observed from afar. At the same time, Jintong was communicating to Hanli through his spiritual sense, trying to goad him into taking that sand crystal from Suliu. Prior to this, she had been staying in Xiaobai's belly. However, despite her incredible physical constitution, the internal space in Xiaobai's body also proved to be quite extraordinary, and she was forced to re-emerge not long ago. "Forget it! Right now, we're counting on the beast race to deal with the other gold-devouring immortal for you. If we try any funny business now, there's a very good chance that we'll be banished by the beast race, and we'll have to face the insect race army on our own," Hanli replied through voice transmission. "Speaking of the other gold-devouring immortal, it seems to be getting closer and closer," Jintong exclaimed. "I have to hide again. Open your mouth, Xiaobai. You can hide in my stomach, but please don't eat any more of my treasures. It's not been easy saving up those immortal treasures, and you've eaten a third of them in one go." Xiaobai protested. "Why are you stingy, Xiaobai? Uncle has more than enough immortal treasures for both of us to eat," Jintong retorted with a displeased expression. "Master," Xiaobai wailed, "if we manage to survive this ordeal, I'll let you eat to your heart's content, but if we can't, then this might be the end for us. Han Li said in a grim voice as he cast his gaze toward a certain direction with blue light flashing through his eyes. "I'm glad you're safe," Su Liu said with a pleased nod after carefully examining Nuo Yifan. "It's all thanks to you and Senior Li," Nuo Yifan replied. "This is the human you were talking about?" Su Liu asked as he turned to Han Li and rested the bottom of his staff against the ground. "That's right. Senior Li has saved my life twice now," Nuo Yifan replied with a nod. "Oh, you sound very grateful to him. Could it be that you're planning to repay him with your body?" Su Liu jibed with a sly grin. Nuo Yifan knew that Su Liu was making fun of her, so she could only remain silent with a displeased pout on her face. "Humans have always been very cunning, sometimes even more so than our fox tribe, so make sure you don't become too close with him," Su Liu continued as a serious look appeared on Shi's face. "I understand, Master Su Liu," Nuo Yifan replied with a nod. Right as the two of them were conversing with one another, Su Liu's expression abruptly changed drastically as he grabbed onto Nuo Yifan, then hurled her at Han Li as he yelled in the language of the Immortal regions, "Take her away from here!" Han Li seemed to have already detected that something was amiss, and in the instant that Su Liu threw Nuo Yifan through the air, he had already vanished from the spot. In the next instant, he appeared right in Nuo Yifan's path, then caught her by the waist before vanishing from the spot once again. After hurling Nuo Yifan away, Su Liu picked up his black staff, then thrust it into the space up ahead with tremendous force. And his attack was aimed in the exact same direction that Han Li had been observing just a moment ago. The star patterns on the staff began to glow radiantly, and a burst of silver light emerged on the tip of the staff, then instantly expanded to form a radiant starry sky that was several thousand feet in size. Immediately thereafter, a resplendent golden sun abruptly emerged in front of the starry sky out of nowhere. The enormous ball of golden light crashed down upon the starry sky light barrier, released by the black staff like a meteorite, and an earth-shattering boom rang out. The starry night sky instantly exploded, and in the face of this ball of golden light, Su Liu's staff was made to appear as fragile as a stick of sorghum, quickly shattering into countless pieces. Ultimately, the countless stars were unable to contend against the single sun, and the entire starry sky exploded violently. Su Liu let loose an agonized roar as his giant body was sent flying back like a rucksack, ploughing an extremely deep trench into the ground before he crashed heavily into a cliff face. Countless loose rocks came tumbling down from the cliff face, instantly burying half of his entire body. A trail of black blood began to trickle down from the corner of his lips, and he gritted his teeth as he glowered intently at the ball of golden light, within which was a golden beetle that was over 10,000 feet in size. Its entire body was giving off an indescribably fearsome aura, and even Han Li was fleeing toward the canyon with his back facing the golden beetle. He knew that it was none other than the gold-devouring immortal that Jin Tong had been referring to, even though it was virtually identical to Jin Tong in appearance. Its aura was at the late high zenith stage. A grim look appeared on Han Li's face upon sensing the golden beetle's aura, but he didn't slow down at all. Instead, he began racing away even faster than before. "Master Insect Spirit!" The Insect Race Army was struggling to ward off the aggressive assault of the Beast Race Army, but all of the Insect Race warriors instantly erupted into thunderous cheers at the sight of the gold-devouring immortal. All of the spirit insects that were being controlled by the Insect Race warriors were also reinvigorated, and they began rushing at the Beast Race Army with renewed effort and bloodlust, restoring both armies to even footing once again. At this point, Nuo Qinglin had already returned to the battlefield, and an alarmed look appeared on his face at the sight of the gold-devouring immortal, following which he hurriedly cast his gaze towards Su Liu in search for his daughter. However, as he began to search for Nuo Yifan's aura, he discovered that she had already been brought back to the canyon by Han Li. "Hand it over!" the golden beetle said in a cold and thunderous voice that rumbled over the entire battlefield. "Just like Father said, you're as resilient as a cockroach. If you're not killed, then you'll only come back stronger. But I didn't think you would have already become this powerful since the last war." Su Liu jeered as he coughed up another mouthful of blood. "Don't make me repeat myself," the golden beetle said in a cold voice, then crossed its two front legs before sweeping them both violently through the air, releasing two streaks of translucent light that resembled a pair of massive cicada wings, which then instantly vanished in a flash. However, Su Liu seemed to have already been prepared for the attack, and he immediately sprang up from the ground, jumping up several thousand feet to evade the two streaks of translucent light just in the nick of time. Han Li was closely observing the golden beetle from afar with blue light flashing in his eyes, and he was astonished by what he saw. As it turned out, even the dust particles and rays of light in the path of the two streaks of translucent light had been cleaved into two. After Su Liu dodged the attack, the cliff face behind him was struck by the two streaks of translucent light, and the entire cliff face was severed like tofu, unable to pose any resistance. Su Liu hovered high up in the sky, looking very much worse for wear as he yelled, "Father, this cockroach is picking on me." As soon as his voice trailed off, a vast expanse of radiant starlight appeared in the sky, and an even more massive figure emerged from within.